Do you want to be healthier, yet you just don't know what to do? All these shows telling you this and that, but nothing seems to work. Well, listen close. Golden State Media Concepts has got something great for you. The Health and Wellness Podcast dedicated to workout trends, healthy eating habits, diet, and everything about healthy living. Join us in our banters as we help you not just live life to the fullest, but live it to the healthiest.
Welcome to the GSMC Health and Wellness Podcast, brought to you by GSMC Podcast Network. I'm your host, Ariane, and I am here with the beautiful Sarah.
Hello, and thank you. That was very nice.
Yeah, you look very pretty today, by the way.
Thank you.
Never seen you with your hair out. She has her hair out
That's
today.
true. I have my hair down. Well, you saw it once when it was wet, but I don't think that counts.
Yeah, right. It's all done pretty and everything today.
Yeah, I used a curling iron. It was crazy talk.
Shut up.
I know.
I don't need to use one of those.
No. It doesn't happen often, but occasionally I'll, be a girl.
I feel you on that one. Okay, our first topic we're going to discuss today is benefits of a clean home. Do you have problems keeping your house clean?
My husband and I have different levels of cleanliness, so we kind of meet somewhere in the middle. He's like way OCD, and I am less OCD.
Right.
I don't mind a bit of clutter.
Okay.
As opposed to like everything being magazine ready all the time.
Right. Okay, I hear you. I'm more on the OCD style, but currently I'm trying to teach my kids how to, clean up after themselves, and my nephews also, and they are having a big problem understanding what keeping a house clean, like the purpose.
Yeah.
So, we are going to talk about the 6 benefits of keeping your house clean. So, the first benefit here, it says it reduces allergies. Mm-hmm. So, if you have lots of allergies, if you're an asthmatic, which I am both of those, and it got worse as I moved out to California.
Oh, yeah. And people are weird and proud about it. Like, when I moved here the second time, I lived in the Bay Area the first time, and so when I moved to Northern California the second time, people were like, do you have allergies? Well, you will now. And they were like all happy about it. I'm like, what is wrong with you?
Like, welcome to the misery pool. Yeah. Like, join us. I don't want to join you. I want to fix this.
Yeah.
Well, it actually rids the home. When you sweep and dust and vacuum, it gets the home. It rids the home of dust, pet dander, if you have any pets, and other allergens that float in the air. Mm-hmm. So I've noticed that with a cleaner house, it does cut down on my personal allergies.
Yeah.
I don't have a pet because I'm allergic. I swear I'm allergic to everything under the sun. I don't get it.
I am too. Amazingly, I am not allergic to our chihuahuas. I don't know how that happened because I too, when I did the scratch test for my allergies, I was allergic to everything. They did everything from food to dander to, I was allergic to everything but 5 things on the entire scratch test.
The whole grid thing that they do? Yeah.
They did them on my back and my arms.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
See, I did the back one, and they were like, you're allergic to everything. We don't know how you even walk outside. I was like, what?
Gee, thanks.
I am a strong-willed person. I got things to do. So reduces allergies. Number 2 was sanitation. I feel like this is a given. Because if you keep your home, if you use disinfectant wipes, stuff like that, it kills bacteria, viruses, and other microorganisms that can compromise our health. And so I feel like that's obviously a given because an unsanitized home is obviously going to make you sick in some shape, form, or fashion. So,
well, especially during cold and flu season. But also, if you use your cutting board and cut up meat.
Right.
And you just let's chop something else on there.
Yeah, put some tomatoes on it right after.
There's some certain things that you really, really want to pay attention to.
Is. Yeah, And take a food class if you don't know what that is, because they teach you about all of that. I'm not about to sit here and tell you guys about food handling safety, but yes. And, even stacking in the refrigerator, that's part of that too. But yeah, that just, it does, especially if you have children too, small kids and public school, mostly elementary schools.
Right.
Those little kids, they just bring home.
They pass everything around. Yeah.
Yeah. And sometimes they don't even know it. My nephew, he's like one of the, what do they call them? A carrier. They carry, but they don't ever get sick. But then they pass it on so everybody else gets sick.
Right.
And that's just horrible because I'll be one of those people that get sick and just be like, really, man? Come on, you didn't sanitize your hands. You don't do anything.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's just, common sense. Sanitize. Keep Clorox wipes. I have like 3-4 like tubes of them because they come in tubes with like the wipes in it that you can pull out and all that. Anyway, moving on to number 3, it reduces mold. And there's so many different kinds of mold. It's crazy. I didn't know what black mold was.
Oh, yeah.
I learned what that was like last year, and apparently that's like
It's
one
really
of the worst ones.
Yeah.
Yeah. But if your home is clean, you can detect mold growth early. Get it fixed out. Mold actually also has an effect on your allergies. So I don't know exactly how, but I know that it can cause allergic reactions.
It can also cause respiratory issues.
Right.
Yeah.
Because it's airborne or it's like an air. Did I say that right?
Airborne?
Airborne. It's like an air.
It's like spores.
Yeah.
Mold has spores, so you can breathe those in, and then they're just in your lungs, which is never good.
Right. And then, yeah, exactly. And then it can also, like, if you're an asthmatic, you could, it could cause asthma attacks and other serious health problems. Like I said, I learned what black mold was, and apparently that's a super serious one that, like, kills people if you're in the area around black mold for too long.
It can, yeah.
Yeah, so, which they find it in your lungs, like, oh, you've been breathing in black mold or something like that. And I think, though, black mold grows, like, on, like, super damp, like, if your house floods and you don't clean it properly, and then it grows, like, under the carpet or inside the walls.
Yeah, it can. I'm not sure. I do know it grows where it's damp. Don't know for sure if it grows other places that I'm not aware of.
Yeah, I don't know. I think it's just if it's damp. I learned that because one of my apartments I used to live in flooded like every winter in Utah. And the landlord there was just like, oh, just let it dry. Put some fans. I was a slumlord for sure. He ended up having to come like rip out the carpet, rip out the padding, and then he left it there. And then somebody came and inspected it, and they were like, you have black mold everywhere. I was like, no wonder I can't breathe.
Gross.
What is going on? Yeah, it wasn't the best. Moving on to number, what was that? 1, 2, 3, 4. It lowers risk of injury. And I feel like that's because if you don't put your things away, you
Legos.
trip and fall. Legos are the worst. Stepped on Legos, I feel like, oh my gosh, it drops you to the floor so quick.
Yeah, it sucks.
But yeah, injuries such as, your foot from Legos, but also like trips and falls too.
Yep.
So put your stuff away. Even if you also don't stack your stuff too high because it could have a possibility of falling over. Like if it leans too much or something like that. If you just have an area where you just stack a bunch of newspapers every day and tell yourself, I'll take those out later. Or I'll take them out the next day and never do.
That's also a fire hazard. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Which I don't know. I have like, my sister has a lot of books and she stacks them. She has them stacked on a bookshelf, but they're not like organized in any kind of way. So you could easily just like hit one and like 6 of them will fall off the bookshelf.
Now that is one area that I'm a little OCD is that the books have to be alphabetized. They have to be grouped by subject,
Okay.
I need that in my life. My dad's a librarian. I can't help it.
Oh, there you go. There you go. See, when I put books on the bookshelf, I put them by size, the tallest to the shortest.
Right. But, how often are you like, I'm really feeling like reading something that's about 5 inches tall right now.
Oh, I know.
Or orange.
Orange, yeah, there you go. Alphabetizing and subject is important. I should do that with mine. And then do the size afterwards.
Or create new patterns. I don't even know.
It's hard.
Yeah, I know. I understand it because aesthetically it's visually pleasing when they are by size.
Yeah.
And I understand that as well. But I'm like, Because then you got Harry Potter over here, and you got, I don't even know, Jane Eyre next to that. And
it doesn't work.
It
doesn't work.
No.
Okay, number 5 is reduces stress. Now, a clean house can relieve and prevent stress. Now, this is important because I feel like a lot of people, like, if they get a call from a friend or a family member saying they're like, oh, we're going to come over, then you stress about picking up or cleaning real quick just to, get ready for the guest.
Right.
And I know a few people that stress out just when they come home from work and the house has like things laying around which should have been put away. It just freaks them out or stresses them out, like, why didn't this get done? Why didn't that get done? Who can't put a cup away? And they just get frustrated. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So if things are, organized a little bit, then, you can avoid that drama. So True. I feel like that's an important one. Me, I just tell my kids all the time, just put it back. If you made the mess, clean it up. It's not that hard.
It is, Mom. It is.
It is to them.
It's boring.
Gosh, they think I'm going to be here for the rest of their life.
It's so much fun to like bake and make the kitchen a mess, but it's boring to do dishes.
Yeah. Oh, I know. And even my kids were so lazy. We never had a dishwasher until 2 years ago in an apartment I lived in Utah. And when we got the dishwasher, they were like, what's this? And I was like, oh, it's a dishwasher. All you got to do is make sure the food is off, stick it in, and then you just run the dishwasher. They thought it was the best invention of their lives because they always had to wash by hand. Yeah. Now, they're just like, we have to do the dishes? Really? I'm
Again?
Like, you spoiled brats. Now you're going to wash them by hand. That should be their, like, punishment.
There you go.
Yes.
There you go.
Well, our last one, number 6, is it wards off pests. Now, like cockroaches, other bugs, ants,
yep.
Mice, stuff like that, which like outside cats help with that too, from what I hear. Like those strays, as long as there's not like a lot of strays, but yeah, bugs and other household pets like warm and damp environments. And dark too. If it's dark and kind of tucked away, they hide there. And so you don't want them making a home in your home. So
yeah, and once you see one ant, you give it 2 minutes and there'll be a million other ones because they'll go get their friends.
Oh yeah, and it's quick too.
Yeah,
and they got like it's like you said, millions of friends. So yeah, just those are like benefits of keeping a clean home. Teach your kids how to keep a clean home, so that way in the future when they have a home, they can keep theirs. Unless they just, if you have a son and he just marries someone to be a housekeeper, I don't know. Which is horrible.
I was just going to say, there's some other issues going on with that conversation.
It really is. It really is. We're going to take a quick break and we'll be right back with some more health and wellness.
Still on the search of that one true love? On the limbo in this crazy world of dating, marriage, relationships? Well, listen to the Golden State Media Concepts Relationship Podcast, your one-stop podcast for everything about relationships.
Welcome back to the GSMC Health and Wellness Podcast. We're going to move on to our next topic, which is the top 10 healthiest countries as of February 2018.
Oh, geez. Let me guess. We're not on there.
No, we are not. Yeah. Just right off the bat, USA did not make top 10. They did not make top 25. We are ranked at number 30.
Oh, we got to do better.
Yeah, we do. Yeah, we do. I feel like California tries to do better by itself, and the rest of the country needs to follow.
Right. Parts of California, and then other parts. California is a weird place because people kind of think of it as this homogenous place of I don't even know, but it really has pretty much every type of person you can imagine.
Oh yeah, that's what I like about it, though. The diversity.
Oh yeah, exactly.
It's amazing. It's not like Utah, not at all.
No.
Yeah. So anyway, this research study was done at the Legatum Institute in London, and is based on 3 components for the healthiest countries health-wise: mental health, health infrastructure, and the ability of preventative health care.
Availability, I think.
Availability of preventative health care. So
yeah, and we could do better on that. That's for sure.
Yes, we can. We all have our opinions on that.
Yes, we do.
Everybody should. Anyway, moving on.
Say it.
Number 10 was Australia. And I'm just going to kind of give what the article kind of touched on with them. They're like random just facts, but they came in number 10, and they also said that Australia has very low pollution, great weather, so people like to be active more outside. Mm-hmm. And their average life expectancy, I just say that slowly.
You can do it.
Is 82.8 years of age.
Respectable.
Yeah. And they're the 4th highest in the world for that.
For life expectancy?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I thought that was pretty cool.
Oh, yeah. Maybe I'll move to Australia. I don't know what. I'll probably say that for everything. Maybe I'll move there.
If Chris Hemsworth still lives there, I will, move there. He's amazing. Just to go look at him. I know he loves his wife.
But I'm sure he goes there. I mean, I would assume he still has family there. So.
Yeah. Well, side note, he used to live in LA. He brought his family here, but then they moved him back because he was like, LA is not a place to raise children. So he moved his family back to Australia, and he just comes out here to film.
Sure.
So I get it, though. I don't think I would want to raise my kids in LA. It's a busy city.
LA, yeah, and if Australia has low pollution, Los Angeles is like the opposite end of the extreme.
Exactly.
Yeah,
exactly. Number 9 was Hong Kong, and the fact that they gave about them is they have 11 private hospitals and 42 public hospitals to serve their 7.2 million people. I didn't know Hong Kong, was considered a country. But they call it a small state /
yeah, it's like a city state or something,
city
right?
State, yeah.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, that's cool, Hong Kong, go ahead.
I'm trying to think. Okay, so that's 53 hospitals for 7.2 million. I don't have anything to compare that to.
Me either, because I was like,
I would assume it's good because they put it in the statistic, but I can't picture that, unfortunately.
I know. I was trying to picture that too and be like, how many hospitals does America have for their 50 states? But then I didn't want to look that up. It was the most. So I let it go. I feel like it's a lot. One cool fact was in 2012, the women in Hong Kong had the longest average life expectancy in the whole world.
Oh, wow.
I was like, that's pretty cool. Your women live long.
I wonder if that has changed some since 2012.
I'm sure it has if they gave it at 2012.
Right.
So, yeah. But we did a show a couple weeks ago where it said Japan had the highest longevity rate.
They frequently, are up there in that statistic, I think.
Yeah, they are. Number 8 on that list was the Netherlands. Mm-hmm. And the Netherlands, this is pretty cool. The Netherlands has been in the number 1 spot in the annual Euro Health Consumer Index for the past 3 years. So apparently their grading scale for that is up to 1,000 points, and they always, for the past 3 years, they've gotten over 900 points on that.
Well, why can't they be perfect? I mean, if they're getting over,
I know,
Sorry, no,
overachievers. No, how do we get that?
Yeah,
but I thought that was pretty cool about the Netherlands. So, moving on, number 7 was Norway. The country's healthcare system is free for children under the age of 16. I thought that was pretty cool. Mm-hmm. And also, the country spends more per person on healthcare than any other country in the world.
Nice.
I don't know I feel like that's a good thing. If they spend more to keep their people healthy.
Right. If it's, for like preventative care rather than reactive care, that's great.
True. Yeah.
Otherwise, then I don't think they'd be on the list if it was they spend more than any other on reactive care.
Yeah, no. Because then it's just like you guys are getting sick. Now we have to help you. Let's just keep you from getting sick. I like that. Mm-hmm. Number 6 on that list was Sweden. Mm-hmm. Apparently, the Swedish men have the 4th highest life expectancy of any nation. They live to be an average of 80.7 years old.
Go Sweden.
Yeah. I want to know what they're eating because that might help me.
Well, maybe we should do an episode on what each of these countries eats.
Yeah, let's do that one next week. Okay, number 5 was Austria. Mm-hmm. Austria has a mandatory health insurance program in their country where everyone gets health insurance, they just have to pay 25. Is it euros? I think it's euros. 25 euros a month, which equates to 28.97 US dollars. $28.97.
Is that per person? So if you had like 5 people in your family, you would be paying 5 times?
No,
20,
actually, that's like a family health insurance plan.
Wow.
Yeah, from the article I was reading. I was
That's
like,
awesome.
I'll pay $28-$30. Round up just a little bit. I don't mind. A month?
Yeah.
That's not bad. Number 4 was Japan. They have the highest life expectancy on the planet, and they average out at 83.7 years.
Seems like the oldest living person is almost always from Japan.
I know, right? Which is crazy. So this is like a good thing and a bad thing with Japan from what I was reading in this article, because they said it's good because, their people are living in healthier lives longer, but it's bad because their demographic is like their population keeps growing,
aging and and growing.
Yeah, they're
that
not
makes sense.
dying off. Sorry for lack of better words right now. They won't. Yeah, moving on.
We're not saying we want you to die.
No, that was pretty insensitive. I'm sorry.
It's all good.
Number 3 was Switzerland. They obviously have universal health care because a lot of...
And chocolate.
Yeah,
I think that's really the reason. I'm going to go with that.
I like that because I love chocolate.
Me too.
So I'm going to take that as, and they have such good chocolate. It's good for your health. In moderation, I guess that's what they say.
Moderation, whatever.
I know, right? I could eat that for breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
I could too, if they could just make it completely nutrition. Like you get your complete nutrition in like the equivalent of a peanut butter cup.
Exactly.
I'd be perfectly happy.
Oh yeah, I'm okay with that too.
But it's not the chocolate. It's
it's because they keep their population healthy, which is awesome. There's what is it, citizens healthy, which is awesome. High five to them. Number 2 is Singapore, and they have 6 million citizens. Their average life expectancy is 83.1 years. They didn't really say why Singapore came in at number 2. They were just like super healthy people. So
that's where we've talked on this show and other shows about the number of we talked about the movie Crazy Rich Asians, and then it turns out that there really are that many Crazy Rich Asians, so they probably can afford it. You can be healthier when you can afford more. Not to be cynical, but I mean, I'm just saying it could factor.
I feel like it could. If you can afford healthcare, then you shouldn't be getting sick. I'm just saying. Number 1 on the list is Luxembourg. And that's a small nation between Belgium, France, and Germany. If any of you didn't know that, because I totally didn't when I was looking it up. And I was like, where is Luxembourg? I've heard of it. Didn't know where it was at.
You can drive. I think we talked about this once, Stacey and I. I think you can drive across the entire country in 30 minutes or something like that.
Really? Okay. Well, that's how it is, because I know that there's a train that you can take that takes you through, like, it's like the European tour or whatever, like the Netherlands, and it goes south and you hit like 14 different countries. Yeah. So I was like, what? That's awesome. Their average life expectancy is 82 years.
Okay.
The picture they had was like snowing and everything. I don't know their secret, though. I'd like to know.
Sometimes when you think of places that are that small, you often think of them as being like very remote and maybe, I don't want to say backward, but like maybe more behind than other countries could be. But sounds like they do not have that issue at all.
Right. And then I was also wondering if they didn't have as many, citizens in their country, if they just do like an average, like instead of doing like a whole China or something like that, if that would have an effect on the... I don't know if it does.
I don't know. I would have to read how they figure those studies out.
I know that there was like 100 things that they combine in this and then break down the health into the 3 that I mentioned earlier. So I don't know. But those are the 10. If you want to visit healthy countries, those 10 were, on there, the ones that we just spoke about. I want to do a Europe tour eventually in my life.
Me too. Yeah,
I'll totally visit all those places, especially the Netherlands. But that's other reasons.
Well, yeah, I want to any of those. So not just Europe. I want to go to Asia. I want to go to Australia. Oh, yeah. I just want to travel more than I currently do.
I hear you on that. We can go together.
Okay,
I'm down with that.
It's a date.
We're gonna take a quick break, and we'll be back with more health and wellness.
Tired of searching the vast jungle of podcasts? Now listen close and hear this out. There's a podcast network that covers just about everything that you've been searching. Hey! The Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network is here. Nothing less than a podcast bliss with endless hours of podcast coverage. From news, sports, music, fashion, cooking, entertainment, fantasy, football, and so much more. So stop lurking around and go straight out to the Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network. Guaranteed to fill that podcast itch. Whatever it may be. Visit us at www.gsmcpodcast.com. Follow us on Facebook and Twitter, and download us on iTunes, SoundCloud, and Google Play.
Welcome back, everybody, to the GSMC Health and Wellness Podcast. We're going to move on to our next subject, or topic, I guess, which is the California Senate Bill 250. If you haven't heard of this bill, it enacts the Child Hunger Prevention and Fair Treatment Act of 2017.
I assume I voted on it, but do I remember? No.
I didn't, because I didn't live here.
You didn't live here, but I did, and I vote, so I assume I voted on it.
I feel like people did, because it did pass,
right?
And it went into effect this January, which is super awesome, January 2018. Mm-hmm. And the reason why they did this was because some people were feeling uncomfortable with their children. If their children had to pay for their school lunch and they didn't have the money in their account, or their account was in the negative, mm-hmm. they would send the children without lunch to the office and just give them like a slice of cheese and a cracker, and then make them call their parents.
Ooh.
But then they wouldn't let them like eat lunch. And then if there was food afterwards, the lunch people threw it away. And people were like, so you're throwing away food. You could have fed my kid. Just give me a heads up. Hey, your account's in the negative. Send a note home, something.
Right.
And, move on. But I feel like that was the reason they came up with this bill, which is awesome, because now in certain districts, I believe mostly in low income areas, each kid gets to have the bill basically states that every child is to be provided with a nutritionally adequate meal during the school day, and that includes mm-hmm. breakfast and lunch.
Okay,
so I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah. Well, you're gonna have kids who are better prepared for learning. I mean, hungry kids are not going to be at all paying attention.
They are not
engaged whatsoever.
And if you haven't been around a hangry kid, then you need to be, because they are not a force to be reckoned with. They just sit there and complain about how hungry they are until they are fed. Mm-hmm. There's no teaching them. I don't know how these teachers put up with that, which I'm pretty sure some of them are pretty frustrated too. Which I would be, because I hate hearing my kids say, I'm hungry.
Yeah.
Like, go fix yourself a sandwich.
You just ate.
Yeah. That's like the first thing I ask my kids. Did you eat at school? No. Then you chose to starve.
Well,
wait till dinner.
The crazy thing is that I grew up in a very small town. And my nieces now go to the same school I did. And in order to get everyone, because it's all one building, K-12, all one building. So in order to feed everyone, the kindergartners would eat lunch at 10.
That's breakfast.
By 3:00, they are starving. My nieces would be starving so they'd have to start that early to get all the grades through, because there's only one cafeteria for 13 grades.
So kindergarten was all day too then?
Yeah, when I was little, it was a half a day, and then they switched it to full day maybe 10 years ago.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, those little babies, they hungry.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, that's great that they get to eat first, but then by 3:00, not so much.
No. Yeah, that's those poor kids. I'm like, I just feel for them right now because even talking about food, I'm like, oh, I'm so hungry, even though I probably just ate.
Yeah. But now we're talking about it. So
I know.
Clearly, we must eat.
Right, exactly. Drink some water, do something. I really like this bill. If I was here, I would have totally voted for it, which I'm glad that it did pass because my kids going to school out here now. They get the benefits of this.
Yeah.
So that's
I wonder, because it's been less than a year since it went into effect.
Right.
So I wonder if I wonder what the statistics will be after several years of, learning, and if test scores are any different or anything, because the children are receiving adequate nutrition during the day.
I feel like they would go up though because they would be paying attention.
Yeah,
more,
I think they would, but I'm curious if they're gonna track that at all.
I hope they do. Now it's just a waiting game on that, though.
Right.
To see if they do.
Right.
It's like, are you guys?
Right, yeah.
I mean, I guess you can go to your school or districts. They have meetings once a week to let you know what's going on within the school district. Mm-hmm. And that could be, if they're not, it's open to the public. So if you don't know if your school does that, go to one of those, research wherever you're located when the district meeting, I think it's like a district school meeting. And ask what they do and what the studies are on that. I liked this bill because it kind of like ties into today's special day or whatever. Today, October 16th is World Food Day.
Oh.
So that was a good gateway for that.
I did not know that.
Yeah. So today's World whatever day, like there's probably like 6 different things.
Well, they're all, yeah.
Yeah. But I like that it was World Food Day. Now, this launched in 1945 to celebrate the United Nations Food and Agricultural Organization. United Nations Food and Agricultural Organization.
So, right at the end of World War II.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
Yeah, the main principle of that was to further food security all over the world, especially in times of crisis, that being right after World War II.
Yeah,
so,
they were still rationing at that point.
Yeah. And I thought that was pretty cool that they even like made this because their like whole intention was people who are going through something need to be able to have food just like our kids at school.
Yes. Yes. Well, I mentioned before we started recording that yesterday was World Grouch Day or National Grouch. I don't remember which one it was. So you see, yesterday you were hangry, and now today it's like, would you just eat something, please?
Exactly. There's reasons, people.
I don't think there are, but I like when things randomly connect.
They do exactly. Now I like this day because the celebration serves as a marker for the importance of the organization, and it helps to raise awareness of the crucial need for successful agricultural politics to be implemented by governments like across the world, not just in the UK or America or just everywhere. And their whole thing is to ensure that there's ample food available for everyone. And I believe they're still working on that because currently in the world, not everybody's able to eat a full meal a day.
There is ample food for everyone. We just don't distribute it as well as we could.
True.
Yep.
True. So those were our topics for today's episode of Health and Wellness. Thank you so much for listening. Please join us on the next episode, and we'll talk to you guys next time.
You've been listening to the Golden State Media Concepts Health and Wellness Podcast, part of the Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network. You can find this show and others like it at www.gsmcpodcast.com. Download our podcast on iTunes, Stitcher, SoundCloud, and Google Play. Just type in GSMC to find all the shows from the Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network, from movies to music, from sports to entertainment, and even weird news. You can also follow us on Twitter and on Facebook. Thank you, and we hope you have enjoyed today's program.